Have another beer, buddy.
Chatty chat chat chat. I think that they probably said that being shorter is advantageous.
Well, they need to teach me then. There you go. So we had to poke a little fun at him. Call you Ginger Swag.
Yeah. If you weren't bowlers, what would you have liked to have done instead? Anything else. Literally anything else.
That's a great answer.
The horse is so dead that it's on some kid's school project on a landfill already.
And there you have
that one before.
No. We'll talk about that one.
Terrible idea.
And we're back.
Here we are. I did have a red jersey.
See? Oh, strategically planned there.
Yeah.
Welcome back, everyone.
Yeah. What's up, everybody? We have with us our guest, Trevor Baumgartner, to God, every single time. Have you seen that movie, Cruel Intentions?
Yes, it's been a long time, yes.
She has a boyfriend, Trevor. Trevor understands. And I can't say the rest. So.
Yeah, we'll just go ahead and stop right there.
you just
demonetized.
Yeah, you have to look the quote up yourself.
Well, both of you are just getting back from nationals, right?
Yeah, in a little bit. We all left together in my parents' van and came back separately, and I came back with a new car, so that's how it went for...
Didn't you have to change a tire, too?
Yes, we also had to change a tire.
Man.
So,
rough.
Yeah, so we're going to talk a little bit about... I've got to pull the patterns and make sure I get those uploaded.
Oh, they are.
So we're going to talk about the patterns, and we're also going to talk about how unfair bowling on the left side is.
I was getting ready to say.
Because it's wretched.
How much fun it is.
Yeah, we're going to see what we have time for, but yeah, they did. Nationals is over.
Yeah.
Everything's done. And so we're going to kind of break the patterns down. We're going to talk about how Jonathan would have shot 2,100 if he'd have gone.
Yeah.
Make him feel great.
Jonathan, you would have liked that pattern.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah, it was very, very playable.
It would have about been like Tulsa for you.
Oh, yeah, I definitely would have wrecked it.
Fired up 5.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Yep.
I would have wrecked it. Probably would have thrown.
Watch him knock 10 down all the time.
Probably would have thrown like a purple hammer. So.
What do we want to start with? Lager, Kolsch, or the agave wheat? Does it matter?
Pick one, anyone.
Okay, let's start with
I've had them on. The one you're pulling out's really good.
I think we also have a virtual coaching, don't we?
Yes, we have one of those, and then we also, I need to go up, unless you could go up and grab that Voodoo Ranger.
Yep, I can go grab it.
And then one of those Tropicostals, and then if you want the peanut butter.
I don't know.
Chocolate peanut butter Kolsch.
I mean, I love peanut butter, but...
Yeah.
You want me to pour more, or you got it?
I got it.
This is Jonathan's.
Okay.
That one's pretty good. I've had this one at home for a while, and it came in a variety pack, and I had 2 IPAs, a lager, and a Kolsch.
Okay, pretty close. Yes, this is a Upslope Brewing Company from Boulder, Colorado, craft lager. We've got a really good place that we go to because we drive to nationals. And when we drive to Vegas, we stay in Grand Junction, Colorado, which is western Colorado. But there's a place in Dillon, Colorado, which is about an hour west of Denver, called the Dillon Dam Brewery. And we stopped there. They've got amazing stuff all the way around. So
I think I grabbed the wrong second one. Now that I think about it,
that's
definitely the wrong second one. And I mean, we can drink it if you want to drink it.
I mean, everybody likes to see me drink it. Why not?
We might actually drink 2 of these. These are so good. So the
you want to put
I need
this
to
one
get
in
rid
the
of
fridge?
this. Yeah.
I can run back out there in a minute.
Plus, we got a pale ale and a Union Jack IPA. We got all kinds of stuff down here. So.
You got a lot of goodies. The only one that's bad in there now is the sour.
Yeah.
Of course, that's one I grabbed.
That's bad.
Didn't even read it until I got down here. And I go, yeah.
No, Brian, if you show up 15 minutes late, you very rarely miss anything from the first side of the show. So.
Oh, this one?
Yeah. Storm B28 had 1915 with 3 150s. Yeah, well, I think
Sweet.
you're also right-handed, so good for you.
I was
gonna ask her, lefty or righty?
You beat me to the punch, Luke. I was gonna say
definitely not lefty. There were very few lefties. Actually, Justin Knowles, I believe, that shot. He was second in all events with 22-20 or something,
Mm-hmm.
and he was the high lefty by 100 pins.
Dang.
So that puts the next lefty. I didn't remember looking at the numbers.
Yeah, you figured 2000.
Yeah, it's out of the top. It's out of the top 50.
Yeah, I mean, it's no hidden secret either that scores were substantially higher this year, and then, I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing.
No, which is very interesting when we look at the patterns, because Jeff Riggles wrote an article about this. 11thframe.com. Everybody check that out. The patterns weren't terribly different this year, but they did have a couple little tweaks that made the right side a little bit easier. I'll pull those in here in a minute.
Yeah, I mean, my assumption is, and I didn't go last year. Unfortunately, I wish I would have. But my assumption is there was just more hook this year than what there was last year, which allowed more air.
And like I said earlier when we talked, when I saw that video that was in the Discord of, I think Angel took the video of you.
Yeah.
The first shot I saw you throw was pretty good, but the second one, I don't know if you just missed it a little right or something, but it literally duck hooked.
Yeah.
No, you just hit 5 board too early.
That was the thing, is it was all about figuring out, and I'll be honest, speaking for myself here, we didn't play him the greatest at first, Rhino and I, and we could have done a little better at playing them the right way. And we know that, but at the end of the day, they were not easy on the left side, because if they were, then they would have been wrecked, and there would have been more lefties scored in general too. And then secondly, we weren't keeping up with the righties in a ways. We had Jake Peters in our squad. He shot 790, and just in general, he's a great bowler too, but just in general, we weren't keeping up with the scores.
Yeah.
Now
you guys make me mad I didn't go.
Yeah.
I feel like I've just cost myself a lot of money.
Yeah, so
you would have liked it.
Yeah, we'll check out the patterns in a minute. There was kind of a shot there, but it was in a very different place. I ended up playing 10-5 on doubles and singles, because 5 was dry. If you tried to play on top of 5, you had to cross it, and you had to, Rhino was getting it out to 1, half board or whatever. And so you had to either play out there and absolutely label every single shot, or you had to bump an arrow in. You had to play a righty track kind of idea. Yeah. Because 5 was hooking. Outside of that was not hooking. Inside of that was going absolutely berserk.
Yeah. Well, the thing is 5 was hooking, but if you were in at all, and you missed one board to the left, it was gone. And not gone in the gutter, just that would have been better, because you would have had a chance to pick up the spare. You were leaving a 3-7-9 all day.
Mm-hmm.
And it just, your angles had to be just right. Honestly, I know personally I just needed something that was a lot weaker than what I had. And I know that going into it for next year, if we hit the same thing. But that was my problem, is my stuff was too strong.
So seeing how much they hooked, how many times you guys hit the headband on the right side?
I don't know if
I don't think it. I had a Brooklyn strike or 2 in team, but that was just I think that was the first game, just kind of getting loose and getting warmed up. I don't think after that.
I think once for me, and the weird thing was it didn't continue to hook. So like Luke was saying, like Luke was saying, if you got there early, it just picked up so fast and threw everything offline, and then it had no prayer, but it wasn't going 10 pin, it didn't just continue to hook.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And obviously I exaggerate when I say 10 pin, but just, it didn't continue. It was really weird.
If you missed it and you weren't going Brooklyn, you were leaving a Creek Church or
a Big Four
or whatever else, because it was hooking early, and then it was just it got offline early, and then
you also have to remember we're on 43 feet. So at the end of the day, even though it's hooking really early, I'm pretty sure singles and doubles is 43. Or was it 41?
It was 42.
42?
Well, actually, Team was 42.
Okay.
Doubles and singles was
39.
40 or something like that.
I don't remember.
I'll pull them up in a minute. But
either way, like we were still on a pattern, and it's not gonna like just, we weren't on a short pattern, so it's not like it was just gonna take off and completely hook all the time. Like it just hooked in the wrong parts of the lane for what I was throwing, and I know that we all were throwing urethane.
I was gonna say, so that tells me you were all throwing urethane. Right?
There was no other option.
No, there wasn't. I mean, if you were throwing anything bigger than I did throw a couple reactive balls, and it picked up so fast.
Oh, yeah.
And I had like no prayer.
What reactive balls did you look at? I know you looked at a ProMotion, right?
I looked at a ProMotion and an Axiom. The Axiom was okay, but it was just what you had with urethane was just exaggerated with reactive.
Right.
So, like, you didn't have a whole lot of miss room with urethane to begin with, but with reactive, it was seeing it so fast that it was either really responding, or you had to throw it hard enough to push it through the spot, and then it just wasn't seeing it. Plus, when there was enough oil that, reactive felt good for like 2 or 3 shots.
Yeah.
If you actually gave it room, then it just started sailing.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And then if you threw anything, which based off what you said, you didn't, but if you threw anything that was like kind of weaker and shiny, I mean, you'd have the hockey stick thing going on, and it was not having it. So,
yeah.
I mean, I personally, when with reactive, I think I threw a Polaris hybrid once, and
Did you throw your stealth?
I did throw my stealth.
And that thing probably saw it really quick.
Oh my, yeah. That's a great ball, but it was not the right matchup on that pattern. But I mean, what was?
So our guest tonight, for those that don't know, as you can see, he's wearing an Ebonite shirt. He is now an Ebonite staffer as of this year. So congrats to you on that, sir.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Welcome to staff life.
Oh yeah, yep. I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying the stuff so far and everything. I mean,
you were pretty much throwing it anyways.
Yeah, there wasn't a whole lot of change for me because I had pretty much all.
And you still get to throw purple hammers.
So. Yep.
Yeah.
That's the main thing. I mean,
got to do that. We need a purple hammer so bad. The pitch black is fine, but we need kind of a different look. I should have taken my fast pitch. My fast pitch would have just rocked it out because it's longer, a little bit more shape than the pitch black. But if we'd have that was the problem, was like the first 15 feet. Yep. Like if we could have gotten it down the lane on the 5 board or on 3, 4, 5, if we could have gotten it past the first 15 feet, we'd have been fine. And team was actually okay because we did have the first 15 feet. So we could kind of square up, but they forced us to use urethane, but also play some shape.
Right.
And it was just really tricky figuring out how to
You almost had to kind of, I don't want to say slow roll it, but if you were going to go ahead, Luke.
No, he's just showing you.
No, you did. You did have to slow roll. I was a few of the shots that I threw. Once I finally figured out in singles and doubles, because I started off 160, 170 in doubles or something like that. But I ended up swinging 10 to 5.
Yeah.
And you had to, because playing on top of the 5 board or like a little bit further out.
Yep. And that's kind of what the move that I would say Rhino and I missed was the fact of we should have looked in a little bit with our urethane balls, but the problem was they were just so strong in general. I just needed something that was weaker.
Yeah.
And kind of exactly what you explained, or it seeing it early. Oh, maybe that's okay. And I put that in quotation marks because nobody wants to see their ball read really early. But as long as it stops, if you can get it to stop, then that's better than what we had.
Yeah.
So
now, would you alter your plan next year, just thinking ahead, and bring more than one urethane ball?
Yeah, I should have taken my fast pitch, but I just didn't think that it was going to be enough.
Yeah.
I didn't know that there was going to be this amount of friction. Because last year when we bowled doubles and singles in the center, there was friction, but it was very, very playable.
Yep.
I shot, 580, 640, 650 something, which for me, that was my first nationals last year as a lefty. So shooting 1800 was great. I didn't get there this year.
You took 2, right?
I did take 2. The other one, it was a Black Widow purple hammer urethane.
Of course.
And, it's a great piece as well. But again, you get that gas mask core in it.
Yeah.
It's going to see it it's going to see it pretty early. It did buy me some leeway because I mean it reacts more quotation like a urethane.
Yeah.
Everyone knows the purple hammer
Mhm.
hooks a lot. So
Yeah.
I mean it's basically
Yeah.
a urethane ball on steroids.
Yeah, it is.
But so I mean the Black Widow did give me some kind of room, but I think I needed something more like a double cross, or like speaking Ebonite and Brunswick line and all, like probably a double cross or
The attitude control. Probably.
attitude control,
Yeah.
something that was way more controllable than what I
Yeah.
had.
Now, flipping it over to the right side, I know you guys don't bowl on the right side, but you see enough of the right side while you're down there.
Mhm.
What did you see on the right side that gave them such an advantage, other than they had room? Was it getting through the fronts better? What?
Yeah. So I
Just-
didn't get
just
to
your
see, I didn't get to see Jake Peters bowl a whole lot.
Oh,
He was
Trevor.
further on down, and he's the one that crushed it in our squad. I mean, he shot 790.
And he was playing more lane than a lot of the guys.
Yeah, I saw a couple of his videos because he shot 300 and
Just
everything.
kind of giving it the slow wheel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but that's what it seemed like worked this year.
Yeah.
Is either urethane on top of it,
Yep.
kind of like what Alex George, which by the way, congratulations,
Yeah.
Alex George.
Mm-hmm.
But it's kind of like what he was doing, or it was move left and do what Jake Peters was doing.
Right.
Because all the videos, that I saw pop up on Facebook, that's kind of what they were doing.
Mhm.
And the thing is if you were left, you had to help, in my opinion, and correct me if I'm wrong, Luke, but you had to have help create that room to go left. Because I know Johnny Clark, who bowled with us as well, he didn't have a whole lot. Granted, he did have Tyler playing urethane, and then he had me and Rhino. So when I say he had no help, I mean he was literally like a normal lefty, where you're by yourself and you're kind of in no man's land.
He had Tyler, right? That's about
He had Tyler, but I mean he was throwing urethane.
Yeah,
and
Tyler was 2 arrows right of it.
And yeah, all love to.
Mhm.
And Tyler Gromovitz was throwing,
Purple
and he
Hammer,
bowled
right?
well too. He was throwing a purple hammer, and he was like, what, 8-4, wouldn't you say?
Yeah. Well, and
Somewhere in that range.
He had hook on the ditch, and
It was similar, to what George was doing. From what I've seen when I've seen the videos of George, it was kind of similar. So yeah, I mean, I think you could kind of do it either way on the right side.
Yeah.
And Luke, you can correct me if I'm wrong because you were obviously there too. But you can kind of do it either way on the right side. It's just if you did move left, I think in my mind you had to have help earlier on to create that, and that's why you saw all the big scores in singles.
Yeah, no,
Mhm.
Because doubles, there wasn't. I mean, scores were okay, but they weren't astronomical. And
yeah, that's why you saw
Good,
the
really good.
monster sets in singles.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I might as well go on ahead and put these up here for we, because I've got a very long story about the Nationals trip. It is we had a week and a half. Here's one of my shots. I'll go on ahead and play this. This was one of my shots from doubles and singles. I think this was either the third game of doubles or the first game of singles when I kind of started getting it figured out. So I'm going to go ahead and play this.
Can you replay that again?
Very wide screen. Yeah, I'll play that again.
play it one more time.
And when we moved right like that, because we were around there at one point, for me it saw it so fast.
Yeah.
And I think some of that is just because I may have hit up on it, a little bit too much. So again, there's just some bad lane play on my behalf too.
Did you get the one of Trevor too? Because that very first one he strikes.
Yeah.
You can really see where he was playing.
Did you have room? Did you have room where you were at there?
No, I didn't have. If I didn't hit 5, because inside of that it was still wanting to move early, and if I got it outside of that, especially from that angle, it was just way bad at.
Yeah.
I had to still hit 5, but I had a little bit more room at the arrows. Like if I hit like 11 to 5, I was fine. If I hit 9 to 5, I was fine. 12 to 5, I was fine. But I had to hit 5. If I didn't hit 5, I just turned around because
you knew.
Just wave it goodbye.
And if you hit 4, and I'm not even exaggerating when I say this, if you hit 4, it probably 379, damn near, right?
Yeah, it's just, and it was bad. It's not even like you were close.
Yeah.
And
that was for, and speaking for singles and doubles, because the team pattern was completely different.
Yeah.
I mean, we had, I know, speaking for Rhino and myself.
Yeah.
That's where you sent it to me. Keep going.
Speaking for Rhino and myself, we had 750 out there.
There's Rhinos.
Play this and
Rhinos.
This is Rhinos. Yeah. Yeah, we're watching this. Sorry you can't see it, but yeah,
Yeah, so he was
super.
You got to play that.
Yeah.
Trevor's very first one. Yeah, I think this is.
This is the one that
Gorgeous.
goes right. Yeah,
you can really see.
You could just see that was the perfect example.
I'll download that one because that one's good, and even Rhinos is pretty good.
This one's a pretty good shot, but I remember right.
Yeah, you strike right here.
We'll pop these up here in a second. We're just trying to.
Yeah, see, that was like 7 to 3.
Yeah.
So Johnny Clark had no hat wearing dude to get it out of the way.
Yeah.
But yeah, the team pattern was very playable. I think I shot 660 or 670, 660, I don't know, something like that. Either way, it was very playable. Honestly, Rhino and we missed the move to shoot 730 plus, and we both talked about it afterwards, and we're like, dang, that sucks, because we had a number out there. We really did. And we were excited after that because we're like, man, we missed out on a number, and we still didn't bowl bad by any means. 660 is not terrible. It's not great, but it's not terrible. We were so excited, and then we walked into singles and doubles, and we're like, this should be fun.
Well, and see, I bowled the Bowler's Journal Thursday when we got there, and so I already knew what I was walking into because I felt pretty good because I shot, with a blasted 500 grit pitch black. I walked in there and shot 230 the first game in Bowler's Journal, and I thought, hey, this is okay, and they're going to settle down a little bit, and then they got just awful. Yeah. I went 230 like 160, 160. I'm like, okay, this is great.
Well, and
Angel said, by the way, real quick before we go on further, shout out to Haley, Trevor's fiance. Bowled pretty good.
Well, yeah, Haley had a very interesting.
Yeah. Tell us what happened with that.
So yeah, we got down to nationals, and
because Angel was originally supposed to bowl with you guys, or was going to be your safety net.
Yeah,
but then we had 2 drop on Thursday, and we bowled. Everybody left on Thursday because we bowled Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah.
And so we had 2 drop, and so Angel had to bowl with us, and then I think it was Morgan Moore's girlfriend had to bowl with us also. And so then you guys didn't have your safety net, so
yeah. Well,
so what happened?
Before we had a guy that wasn't able to make it, and we were trying to find someone to kind of replace and everything, and tried, and we were the last weekend of the tournament, so it's not easy to find someone.
It wasn't me
that late in the tournament,
especially the last minute.
Yeah,
it wasn't me.
Last minute.
It was definitely
it was you. No, it wasn't you.
Okay.
Hold on.
Yeah, because originally I was bowling with their group, and then I couldn't do those dates, and so I didn't know. Okay.
No, we had another guy. Okay. I think from New York, but either way, it didn't end up working out fine and everything, and we tried, couldn't find anyone, and Angel was our, gonna be kind of our safety net, and then obviously, she should have bowled with you guys because, obviously she's your wife. She's your wife, so she should have bowled with you guys. Yeah, exactly.
So you ended up having to go buy like Haley a bowling ball and everything.
Yeah. So we tried. I spent probably 6 hours and this isn't even a joke. I spent 6 hours between the sub board, calling people, texting people, all kinds of things. It just didn't work out. So Haley and I basically looked at Haley and I was like, well, I mean, you ready to lace up? Because we got nothing else at the right now. And it was between her and my mom, and Haley ended up doing it, and we had to buy her a one bowling ball, just because we had to still get it back.
She got an obsession tour, so
yep, she got an obsession tour,
and that ended up being a very good choice.
Yeah, I knew going ahead, I was like, well, I want something that's going to be pretty versatile for her, something that she can just keep and play in general, because she was only getting one ball, and she was set up for failure, honestly, because one ball going into nationals with one ball is just not.
You've never bowled it before,
and you've never bowled.
She just started bowling like 2 years ago or something.
Exactly.
So,
everything was against this girl.
Walking into nationals, never been bowling on that stage ever.
So she was very, intimidated by it all, and but we had to buy the whole Shazam outfit, everything, and then she ended up having the high game, and the team of game one, and she shot 191, and I looked at her and I was like, dang, good job, hon. You just beat Rhino, you beat Trevor, you beat a lot of pretty dang good bowlers.
Tyler,
Tyler, Johnny, you beat Dad, my dad, everyone. Like, you beat everyone on the pair, literally. And it was just kind of funny because she was our last second sub, and she just come in and she took the bull by the horns, and she did really well.
Good.
And she actually, her and my grandpa, I believe, it's not obviously official because of they don't have anything official yet, I don't think.
Yeah, they actually
do. They?
Well, they got numbers up, I think, way too early, and then they took them down. But then I think they put them back up. So you might actually see.
Yeah, so I'll need to look at it, but I'm pretty sure her and my grandpa cashed and doubles, which is pretty awesome. So I was proud. I was proud of her, and she almost cashed in singles, and
they need to make a bowl every year.
So she did really well, and I was proud of her.
That's awesome. So good job, Haley, if you're watching. I'm sure you're working or something, but
she's always working.
She is always working. So congratulations to you for that.
Class,
she was in the classified.
Yeah.
Yep, she got
$123.
Yeah, look at that.
When I found out that Haley was bowling, my first thoughts were somebody get her a drink.
Yeah. Well, and she's gotten quite a bit better. I think she bowls better at Gage than she does at Westridge.
She does.
Because there's more friction, there's more shape or whatever. But she shot 25, 22, so she averaged, she averaged 160, 165-ish, something like that.
Yeah.
170. So,
that's about
160, 165.
And that's about her average on a normal house shot.
Yeah.
So,
she did that with one ball at Nationals.
One ball.
Yeah,
and she did. I asked her at the end of the trip, I was like, how many 10 pins did you miss? Just because I knew, there was friction out.
Yeah.
There was friction out there, and she had to throw the obsession to her.
Yeah, she had one ball to do everything.
Yeah. And she said that she missed, I think, like 10 or 12.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, holy moly. Like and she wouldn't have done she wouldn't have won the thing by any means, but she would have probably cashed more than what she did if she would have just had a spare ball.
She would have cashed in every event but team, right?
She picked up half those. Yeah, because I think she was like, if I looked at her right, she was like 15 pins-ish away on like everything between all events and then singles.
Mm-hmm.
That girl.
Well, that's the other thing is you guys had, like we did, you had the 9:30 p.m. team squad Friday night, and then you turned around and bowled at 7 a.m. Saturday. Well, her thumb, and she hadn't bowled for a couple months since league.
Yeah, she hasn't bowled since league, so that would have been April.
Yeah, so just the quick turnaround, plus she hasn't bowled for a while, so her thumb, got a little bigger. And so she was hanging her thumb halfway out of the ball. Yeah. Bowling the entire, 6 games for singles and doubles.
Yeah, she was just literally walking up and kind of throwing it, pardon my French, but half-ass. You know what I mean? At the head pin. So.
I'm offended.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
All right. So we often when I'm trying to describe things to people, I call you the best lefty that people have never heard of. This might be Rhino first, but we'll. He's,
Yes.
I don't know why this is compressing it like this, but it should just play the daggone video.
He's
He's
pretty
got
funny.
hips.
He's pretty funny.
All right, so these are still gonna be weird, but I'll play the ones with Trevor here.
Terrible.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to upload these to YouTube or something because this is almost like watching Minecraft.
I think
or
it might be
something.
okay on here.
Oh yeah, it looks a whole lot. Well,
Yeah.
I don't know. It kind of cuts off everything. I'll play this one and see.
And we're watching it now. You can exactly see what they're talking about. Like that thing just duck hooks.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you don't, you don't really need to see the pins. At least for some reason, our feed on this end is like squashing everything, and so Rhino looked like he was 3 feet tall.
4 foot tall. Well, I mean, he is.
And he
4
had
foot.
wide hips.
He is 4 foot tall,
he is 4 foot tall. But yeah.
I resent that.
Mm-hmm.
Easy.
Yep. So
Leave those short people out of this. But there you
yeah,
go.
so it just
How did the Blurs Journal go, boys?
God, it went good for an entire one game.
Yeah,
And
you
then
won,
we
yeah.
bowled Sunday night before we were about to leave. We all bowled.
Yep.
So I knew it was a terrible idea going into it.
Did you bowl the same time he did for the?
Yeah, we both bowled the same. I think he bowled it twice. I bowled it twice as well, right?
Yeah, because we bowled it Thursday and then we bowled it Sunday before we were ready to leave. And I knew going into it was a terrible idea, but I got to bowl next to Matt Kabansky, who's the global
Brand manager,
brand
right?
manager,
Yep.
and then Giorgio Clinaz,
Mhm.
who's the Geo that you guys see on some of the Storm, Roto Grip, and 900 Global videos.
The best headless lefty.
I think.
Mm-hmm.
Is my head cut off?
It was in their feed, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We really just wanted you to see where the ball hooked.
Yeah.
So I'm going to play these again back to back, and you'll see the difference. Because all you need to see really is the first 20, 30 feet of the lane, and just watch the difference between the one shot to the next.
So you're headless. Well, I'm also not full screen. Let's see.
Explain that in a second.
When that ball hooked, I could
if
see
you
your
look at the
frustration.
difference between the two shots, like that ball stopped at 20 feet and duck hooked instantly, and the first shot that I showed, you got maybe a board further left, and it actually held, and it didn't quite even get back there. It kicked that 7, and then the next one you got a board in, and it almost went Brooklyn.
Yeah,
and that was the entire experience.
And we
it
got to see a
was,
little
and
frustration
then
too.
oh yeah, it was a frustrating one, but it is what it is. You can't always crush them.
Yeah.
But it was like exactly how Luke said. Basically, it would hook early if you missed right, and then if you missed left, it was even worse. Like one board hooked so much. Would you agree, Luke?
Yeah.
It was
because there was
oh my
one
gosh.
in the Bowler's Journal, or no, there was one in the regular tournament where the ball had been hooking. So I finally sent one, and it hit one, and it just okay, that's a gutter ball. And I about turned around, it stopped on the one board and checked and went nuts.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can find this. I've actually got it in the. Put it in the.
Did you go through the face?
No, it actually struck, but I think
Really?
she put. No, I've got them on my camera roll, but they're not in here. But yeah, there was one that I just straight up, threw it out. It hit one and stopped and went dead flush. I'm like, okay, but 2, 3, and 4 is a washout, not hitting the head pin. One board would hook and turn sideways. 5 would hook. 6, 7, 8 would go absolutely insane. And even if you bumped in, it would, if you got it a little bit too up the lane, basically a little bit, the angle's a little
like
too
my
straight.
like my last shot.
When
that
just
hooked.
digging and go insane. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and show these patterns. We'll talk about them. I need another
Beverage.
We're gonna go the good stuff. I think.
What pattern are you going to start with? Team or double
Yeah, we're
singles?
gonna start with team because
Okay.
it was the most normal kind of fair one. And
Yep.
when we're talking
I
about,
agree with that.
when you start looking at, Chaz got awfully excited because we went and watched Matt Gasson and Sean Nauman and Kenny Ryan and some of those guys that were bowling team before us. Kenny Ryan's a lefty, and he got on top of it in team and was just giving it the high hard one.
Mhm.
And that's Chaz's. I mean, couldn't be any better. If Chaz can just launch it right up 5, he's in amazing shape. So he got really excited for team, and we didn't do that great in team, but him and Lucas Pajakovic figured it out and had a couple good games toward the end. Doubles and singles was an absolute catastrophe for all of us.
Yeah, the team event, in my opinion, it was, speaking for like pattern all around, like as a rounded whole, it was the most fair pattern that you could possibly bowl on because, in my opinion, the right side and the left side both had looks. And I'm all for scores. I'm not against scores. It's just when they're playable on both sides, it's nice. And in my opinion, team pattern was that because, again, I saw right-handers scoring on that, and I know that Rhino and I had about probably 740 or better in that event. So team pattern was nice, and I think we shot 1,200 our last game.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, we bowled well.
Were you guys going to cash in team?
Yep, we cashed.
Ah, sweet. Was it a decent cash?
Yeah, I haven't even checked yet because I didn't know that they're final or anything like that.
How'd brackets go?
Brackets went well on team event.
For team.
I made money. I made money in team event.
I hope you would know that I was talking about team event.
Okay.
And not the other.
Yeah.
Trevor,
Yeah.
how did doubles and singles brackets go?
Anyone knows that when we bowl, I'm usually all in on brackets, and I looked at Rhino on singles and doubles, and I cannot explain why I felt this way, but I told him, I was like, we're gonna play, or I want to play, but I'm not gonna fire in. It was the best decision of my life.
Yeah.
Because I would have just completely donated. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I still played.
Yeah.
Like I was still in for I think 500 or something like that. But I mean, it wasn't anything huge, so
that's all you got.
it was a good decision.
500. That's it.
Brackets on team though was good.
Did you do anything in brackets?
I just normally play like 100 a set, and even for right now anyway. And I just automatic in doubles and singles. I wasn't going to put anything in, but I just got in the room. I was like, I'm going to put my money in doubles and singles. And then I got out there and I'm like, what did you do? What did you do? I put in 200 and I got like 65 or 70 back for 540, 620 or whatever.
Yeah.
But I had.
What did you do?
Well, I went in singles. I went 230, 220, 160, and so I got a bunch of second places. I won one reverse bracket somehow. I got through the first game with a 160, but
I know what you did.
What pairs were you?
You straight donated.
Yeah.
What pairs were you guys on for the doubles and singles? At least?
We were on 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 for a team, and then we were 34, 35, or 35, 36, 37, 38, something like that.
RB in the chat says 33 and 34 at that place. The pair topography is awful.
We were on 35 and 35 and 36. No, you guys were on 40 or 41, 42.
I know
39, 40, something like that.
Team event we were on 33, 34.
Yeah.
Cuz 35 and 36 is where Jake wasn't he?
He was on 1 and 2.
For team. For double and singles, he was on 33 and 30.
No, I'm sorry,
he was on 31 and 32. He was on the end pair of the second side.
Yeah, that's what I was
on doubles and singles. But yeah, you bowled. He was on your squad for team.
Okay, so then, so we were on 33 and 34 for team, and singles and doubles. I got no regular. Well, the video showed it, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I got no.
That was actually a great video to show.
Shout out to Mr. Bill.
Yeah, thank you.
Voodoo Ranger, Juice Force
It's not
IPA,
bad.
Hazy Imperial IPA, 9.5%.
All right, ready to talk about these patterns?
Yep, I'm gonna pop. So, and this is you guys are gonna understand immediately when we pop these up. Team is there. It shifted ever so slightly to the right, but I thought the team was very fair, side to side. Matt
42.
McNeil won team with his team. He shot 740 something. Him and Anthony Nyer actually did about the same thing. The Ginger Assassin, they went 740 in team. It was like 746 and 746, but then they both shot 6-0 in doubles, which even I can't imagine how they did that well. But Matty went 160, 170. Then he shot 240, 250 or something the last game of doubles to get him to 600. And then he shot 700 in singles, but he needed 276 in the middle game to get him there. Anthony Nyer went 740 in team, 6-0, 650 doubles and singles. And even like I'm saying, I don't have any idea how they shot 600 in doubles.
Yeah.
Now, so this is 42 feet, 27.2 mils, fire. They've been using a lot of, we got a good.
Dang, that doesn't look hard. How did I start 131?
Yeah. So the interesting thing is that it's not that different from last year. I think the oil volume is about the same. The pattern distance, because team was actually longer last year. And I think this is virtually identical to the pattern last year. And that's what Jeff Riggles wrote up. It's equal ratios at 2.63 to 1. So it's still a sport pattern, but it's ever so slightly shaded to the right. But the kicker here is that you see that the oil application ends at like 28 feet, and then it's buffed from 28 to 42. So you've got this entire, you've got this, let me see if I can, something like that. You've got this whole entire length of this. So you've got like 14 feet where the lane machine is not putting oil down, but it's just pushing the oil that's kind of already there. So that's what we call the buff. It'll tell you here what's forward, reverse, combined. So there's reverse and there's combined. There is forward on the very bottom. You can't see it on the graph because it's covered by the darker blue. But so that's what makes it tricky sometimes, is when the oil is short, but the buff is longer. So that makes it feel like it's long and short at the same time. If you miss in or get your angles a little too straight, it's going to take off. And if you miss out, there's the length. There's at least enough oil to kind of mess with you.
Yeah.
But it's fairly even from side to side. And so team felt fine.
Oh, yeah.
I just didn't execute. I shot 580 in team. You had a rough kind of first game, but then you shot like 240, 220 or something like that, 240, 230, something like that.
Yeah. I mean, back to kind of what it looks like. Clint, is that his name?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He said he shot 131 first game. I mean, honestly, the first game was hard. The first game was hard. So I'm sure you rebounded after that.
Yeah, he said he went 227, 236.
Yeah, my point. Yeah, because
so
the first game was hard in general. I mean, if you looked around in the building after game one, when we bowled team, there were very far and few between 200s.
Yeah.
And I don't know why. I can't explain why. But then it just blew up.
Yeah.
Like it went from almost like, and I'm making it up, obviously I'm not this extent, but US Open, like 200's a good game to and then all of a sudden, wham, now you got 240 out.
Hello.
and I'm being exaggerated because it's not it wasn't US Open hard.
That's why I laughed.
But like when you looked around in the building, you didn't see very many 200s. So, I mean, it makes sense what he's saying. One, struggle first game, rebound next two games. That's exactly what we did. I shot, I think, 188 my first game. And then everyone did that. And then rebounded with like 240, 240 or 250, 240. Something, I don't know, something like that. But it doesn't matter. Regardless, It
was pretty tight early, but it opened up really fast. And that's what That's what Rocky Harrison, Garden City, Kansas, former home of Dylan Burns.
He's out there for work training.
Good old Dylan.
Oh yeah, Garden City. You have to go to Iron Mountain Brewing Company. Iron Mountain Brewing Company. It's amazing. And even if you don't drink, go there, because my dad doesn't drink, but he does field marshaling for golf tournaments, nationwide, women's, whatever else. If it's in Kansas, he'll go to it. And I sent him there because the fish and chips are amazing, the food's amazing, and that's what we normally go to breweries, because the food's amazing. Like, I'm the only one that I was talking about, the Dillon Dam Brewery.
Yep.
We passed through Colorado. Angel doesn't really drink that much. My mom doesn't drink. My dad doesn't drink. But we stop at breweries because the food's so good.
Yep.
So Iron Mountain Brewing Company, you got to hit that before you get out of there, Rocky.
Sorry, just funny because you're like, even if you go to a brewery, even if you don't drink, just go have a chair. Just sit there.
Yeah.
Play cornhole.
Play cornhole.
So I'm quitting bowling and playing cornhole.
Yeah.
You should.
That should be a thing. They have a cornhole league in the back at Royal Crest during the summers.
Really?
They actually do, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man, we need to sign up next year.
Next year, we totally need to get in on that.
Oh, this guy is amazing.
On his boards, but he's pretty good on the rest of them. What's the longest buff you've ever seen on a pattern? 14 feet's about the longest.
Anything at Olathe East.
Yeah.
No.
14, I mean, if it's 42 feet and the buff is 14 feet, that's long.
I honestly
I agree with that.
Unfortunately, I'm allergic to fish and shellfish. Well, they have plenty of other good stuff. I think that they've got chicken fried steak, and they've got kind of the regular stuff. They got really good burgers. They've got all kinds of stuff. So
and beer.
And I'm sure if anything, you can never go wrong with chicken fingers.
No.
Chicken fingers at a
Riley Patton
at a restaurant's always good.
No.
All right, so I'll put this pattern back up real quick. So fire, that's what we're going to talk about. The oil that they use. Fire is scoreable, but it transitions a lot faster than ice. Yep. Ice will sit there and won't move. Terrain plays very dry, but that terrain's what they use at Gauge Center. It doesn't.
That makes sense.
It doesn't really transition.
Yeah.
But it plays really dry.
Yep.
It just terrain hooks.
At a place that already has a ton of friction.
Fire kind of does too, right? Like they have really good names. I feel like for those, the conditioner, isn't it the conditioner now?
Yeah.
It's called? Yeah, the conditioner, because fire typically equals hook.
Yeah, it hooks.
And then ice typically equals
traction.
Yeah, traction would be fire.
Oh, not traction. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Traction would be fire. Yeah. Ice would be like, like you're going on ice. Like you're just kind of going, and it's an exaggeration again, but straighter. It's a heck of a lot more, a lot straighter. You usually have shim. You usually have a little bit more shim on ice, and on fire you don't have the shim. You have more of the free hook.
Yeah, fire is more scoreable, but it transitions faster, and so I think that they like using that because they have blended it before. They have used fire in one tank and ice in another tank on the lane machine, and that's very interesting when you have fire and ice on the same lane.
I'm sure, yeah.
But when they've done ice before, it's a little tougher at first, but once you get the lanes broken down, it just doesn't change.
Wouldn't fire and ice together just make it super wet dry?
It would. Well, it makes it very interesting. If you have forward ice and reverse fire, or forward fire and reverse ice, or whatever else.
He was in
my shirt.
So this is technically her shirt that she bought. Well, yeah.
You got a shout out earlier, Haley.
Yeah, you did, and you missed it.
Haley made $123, by the way. You're gonna be getting
check. You made $123.
Yeah.
Hey, that's my shirt.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, we had to buy her. I mean, you bowl 2 days at Nationals. Bowl 2 days, so we had to buy her 2 outfits. Ended up being an expensive trip.
Oh, you don't say. A bowling ball, probably some shoes.
Don't be telling my fame.
All right, let's head to number 2. Now you're gonna have to pop her.
I'm gonna put her up there. Yeah.
Now you have to pop her big head with a pen.
Yeah.
Now you're never not getting out of nationals again.
Yeah.
The moneymaker.
She was cussing
Yeah,
and Brian the whole time.
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah.
her little fiery personality, man,
Yeah.
never fails.
Rookie of the year, just saying.
Yeah.
I'm not repeating the words that Haley probably said while she was bowling. That's okay. We love Haley.
My dad could have used Haley on the way back. Fortunately, my mom's an RN too, but we'll talk about that in a minute.
Now the fun pattern.
The doubles and singles pattern.
Yeah, let's get to that because
Is this the one I would have wrecked?
Yes.
Okay.
And it's the instant
you'd have done
you
well on
see
both.
it is obvious why what happened. Look at this bleep.
Oh yeah.
So look at over here. So number one, the right side is 2.7 to 1. Left side is 2.5 to 1. So the left side starts out harder to begin with. But look at the blend in the middle of the pattern here. It's asymmetric towards the right side. So there is very, very little oil. They only have a forward pass on this oil on, from 1, 2, 3, 4. There was only a forward pass. There's no reverse oil on 1 to 4 on the right side. So the gutter on the right side is dry. Yeah. That's why you see them putting it out there and it hooked back.
Yep.
It's also asymmetric towards the right side. So once they got into about a game and a half, all of a sudden that oil starts pushing down.
Yep.
Hold.
I know you can't see my cursor, but kind of right here in the middle.
Like 15.
Yeah, like
16.
10, 11, 12, 13, 14. As soon as that oil starts pushing down a little bit, the right side turned into a house shot a game and a half in.
So you're telling me the gutter is even hooked on the right side?
If you played it the right way.
If you played it the right way.
Because you can obviously mess up a lane with a bowling ball.
Yeah, and everybody said, play right as long as you can.
Yep.
But it's because you had friction on the dit. Well, that's why Tyler played, 8 to 4
the whole time
with a purple hammer.
Well, that's what I would have done.
Time.
Yep.
And so basically, if you started right and then just kind of gradually chased it in, it's a freaking house shot on the right side. But then on the left side, we had oil early for, look at this. So the
10
combined, for like 5-10 feet.
Yep.
And then hook. Hook
nothing but hook.
Inside of that. But it's still 39 feet. So there was so much hook so early that we had to use urethane to kind of blend it out, slow it down, because reactive stuff, if we missed in at all, it was just gone.
Yeah.
And then we had to get in and kind of launch it because it's still only 39 feet.
Yep.
So we had to get in a little bit, launch it, but that's still long enough to where if you launch it and miss a little bit left, it's just out the window.
Yeah.
Yep.
Completely out the window.
Not to mention, we also sometimes forget, as lefties, I know sometimes I do, but the righties get in our area of play, which is fine. But in this circumstance where there's so much hook, we are forced either one way or the other, obviously. And if we're forced right, we're in doomsday because the righties are getting right where we're at. So now back to the lane play thing. On fresh, it's okay. But as soon as they start moving left and getting in our area, we're going to see so much hook up front.
Right.
And we already have enough hook. Yeah, it in the fronts. You know what I mean? Now you start getting into dicey situations. That's why you can only get pretty much to where you were, because if you got any further and you're on a normal righty pair, because, our situation was different with only having Johnny doing what he was doing. So we technically could have gotten in compared to what a normal lefty could do.
Yeah, because
we didn't have that traffic.
Yeah, the righties didn't really get that far left. Now, I know that Jake Peters was playing further left. But their whole squad played it right. They started off, they were playing a little 10 to 5 swing, and then they just kind of gradually chased it. And then I was worried for – Jake's a great guy. He's had just awful tragedy.
Yeah,
I remember bowling the GMJBTs that Toby Contreras had back in the day in kind of the Kansas City area. I remember Melissa, Jake's wife, bowling those tournaments, and that was back when I bowled with Brian Barr and Matt Phelps.
I actually used to hang out with Melissa a lot.
Yeah, and Amanda when she was 13. But
She actually dated a friend of mine.
More mature than the rest of us still.
She still is, yeah.
I always joke that Amanda was going to hit menopause by 18. She was just, because she hung out with, because Randall wasn't quite our age.
Yeah.
And then I was a little bit older than, Matt Mace and Josh Seidel and Matt Phelps, Brian Barr, Chelsea, whatever else. But we still bowled those traveling youth sport tournaments. And back in the early 2000s, that was it for as far as sport tournaments, tougher patterns, whatever else.
Yeah.
So we bowled those. Well, Melissa bowled, it was Melissa Hurst back then. She bowled a lot of those too. But then you had Justin Crumley and I think Jake bowled a handful of them. Sean Rash when he first got to Wichita State.
Yeah, I saw Sean at quite a bit of stuff.
Yeah. And so I remember seeing her there because she was one of the better female bowlers. And so her and Natalie Bennett and Chelsea were always kind of vying for things. And, she got cancer and died a couple of years ago.
Yeah, it's been almost a year and a half now.
Yeah, it's been a couple of years. And
and
she was great. Jake's a great guy. And so I would have loved to seen him take over the lead. But Alex George is one of those guys too, where he's not necessarily the underdog, but he's kind of an underdog.
He's a college teammate of his, by the way.
Yeah. We both college together. Yeah.
I mean, he's not.
You won't find a guy that has more fire.
Yeah,
I will say that
he's not an AJ Johnson who
No.
makes me insecure in my masculinity. If I even have any standing next to him, 'Cause he's like this Henry Cavill looking, Superman Witcher, just kind of jacked, chiseled jaw, whatever else.
You
and I'm
don't
just
feel
like,
that way standing next to me? I'm offended.
yeah. Well, if I was like
Gosh.
8 or 9 inches shorter,
Yeah, you'd have that short man syndrome.
Yeah, I know.
You'd have the George and Jonathan
Here's
Haas
a haymaker across the way.
and the Haley Caber lines.
That's right. The fire
You'd have all of it.
So Jake started off. He in singles and doubles. Jake had the front 10 game 2 or 3. He had the front 8 game 1 of singles. Ended up with 253. Then shot 300 second game of singles, and then had the front 6 the third game of singles, and he was acing everything. And he was making moves the whole time too.
I think he had front. I'm making this up, but I think he had front 8 every game. It felt like it. Like holy moly!
In team, he did the same thing.
Yeah,
he just got down to it, but then in the third, so we're halfway through the third game, and I'm like, I mean, he had to have them all to beat Alex because he would have had to have 300 for 853 to beat out. So he needed everything that he got.
First one, I think.
No. So he went. He was in our squad, so he went 253, 300, and it had the front 7. I'm pretty sure it's the front 7.
Yeah.
And then he Greek churched or Big Ford or something like that.
He
ended up shooting
right.
241 or 245 or something. Regardless.
Yeah, so 790 for singles, I think.
Yeah. I mean, he absolutely aced them.
Yeah, all he was doing was giving it the slow wheel.
But he wasn't at the beginning. He was great. He was pulling a Tom Patton. He was just gradually kind of moving left and moving left and moving left.
Did he throw urethane early?
No.
That guy of all people wasn't throwing urethane.
Well, no, he was just zinging it. If you watched him early in
Talking
double,
about Jake?
Yeah. He was just singing.
He wasn't throwing urethane.
Singing it right down the.
They played the right side exactly how you should play it. I mean, in my mind, if someone was going to have a chance to take over what Alex did, first of all, I mean, I just sat here and said Jake had front 8 every game, it felt like.
Yeah.
And he still didn't catch Alex. Alex's score was that good.
Yeah.
That shows you how hard it is to shoot 848 or whatever he shot.
No, I just was curious if he started with urethane to start.
He did start with urethane.
He did start.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think the whole squad did, if I remember right. Like the whole pod, 4 of them started with urethane, moved left, and then they had the bounce.
So all they did was build him a little honey hole.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they
played him right.
They played him right. They played him. If I would like I said, if I would draw up on how you should have played the lanes as on the right side,
Yeah.
that's how picture perfect. That's how you should have done it.
Yeah, they did it
Unless-
perfectly, and he executed
Yep.
amazing. And then on the Greek church, he finally let one in like 2 or 3 boards.
After he had like what 20 in a row.
Yeah, well,
Or whatever.
yeah.
I mean, think
Yeah,
about
he
it.
had the front 8, then he went 7 spare, then he had something. His 9th and 10th frame weren't great in the first game. Then he
Yeah.
shot 300. Then he had the front 6, aced 18 in a row.
Yeah.
Just straight up, no doubters
I mean,
off his hand.
It was sick.
And so I started getting worried. I started getting a little worried for Alex, and not that I would have been, Jake's got a couple titles. He's got plenty of accolades to his name, and not saying that Alex has got a regional.
Does he have an eagle yet? Not Alex.
Jake does not have an eagle.
So
I don't
he
believe.
deserved to win an eagle too.
But yeah, and so I would have been fine either way. But Alex is one of those guys where everybody was happy for him. I mean, it was it was kind of a surprise because again, he doesn't have the biggest rev rate. He doesn't throw it a million miles an hour. He's kind of a smaller guy, and so he's not your first thought. But it's like when it comes to just making shots, keeping the ball in play. And he does kind of have that fiery personality where he gets excited about it. He's kind of a Norm Duke. I mean, he's a Norm Duke, really, when you think about it.
No, yeah.
Because he's always happy. He's always smiling. He's always energetic.
Yeah.
He's always
In such a good mood all the time.
Yeah. And so, if somebody said Alex George is going to go out and win nationals, you would have thought, I mean, I see him bowling good.
Yeah.
But not shooting 840.
Yeah.
That's a big number on a house shot.
Yeah, it's a big number in general.
If you shoot 848 in Tulsa, Springfield, Greater KC Open, anywhere on a house shot, you're thinking, I'm getting a trophy.
I mean, I had 848 or 850 or whatever in
yeah.
Southwest.
Southwest got snapped off.
I got snapped off by one, but I mean, we don't have to talk about that. But I mean,
you brought it up.
I felt like I bowled pretty good. And, I mean, for him to do it on the big stage at nationals, yeah, for him to do it on the big stage at nationals, that's.
I mean, let's be honest.
Pretty sick.
Outside of professional bowling, it's the biggest stage we've got.
Yeah, well, even the professionals that's the biggest because it's 9 games once a year.
Yeah.
They have several tournaments throughout the year, so it's like, well, if I don't get this one, I can try the next one.
Yeah, they make it a point to go to nationals.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's part of their schedule.
Honestly,
it's a big deal.
If you shot 848 in Springfield at the
Oh my God,
that would be.
Yeah.
Especially at Sunshine.
Oh,
yeah,
for sure. Yeah.
Well, that's what I told. So Zeno Garcia has the nationals. So there's never been a 3,600 shot at nationals in the team. It's been 35 something, like 3580, and then 3720. And Zeno Garcia is on that team. He also was a part of the team that shot 3725 or 3730 in Springfield on team. And I told him,
was that this year?
No, it was a couple of years ago.
Oh, okay.
I told him, I'm like, your Springfield, the Springfield team record is more impressive to me than the Nationals record because because he did it when it was synthetic wood.
Oh gosh. It was.
My God.
It was synthetic. Wasn't it synthetic in the fronts and then the backs were
Guardian,
wood?
yeah.
Oh God.
So yeah,
that was so
his
bad.
team shot 37-25 or something.
Where they always started out stupid wet and then just blew up.
Well, and that's what I told him. I'm like, that's so much more impressive than your Nationals record.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not lying. Is he wrong?
No, he's not. He's not because, I mean, Springfield at Sunshine's tough.
We also caught a really crap pair this year for Team Sunshine.
We did. Yeah.
We bowl on that pair every single year, like the end pair on the high side.
I've
bowled on that pair. I've been to Springfield like 7 or 8 times. I bowled on that pair 4 or 5 times. Half the time I've been there, I've bowled on it the last 3 or 4 years in a row. The last 3 or 4 times that I've been there, I've been on that pair, the end pair on the high side.
I shot 220 something game one. I thought I just shot 750.
Yeah.
I thought I just shot 250.
I think I've been there 4
sucks.
years. I think I've been on that pair 4 years.
See, that's funny you guys say that. I'm usually on the other side on like 3 and 4.
We bowled on 15 and 16 once or twice. So most of the time I'm on the end pair. I'm either on the high side of the low end or the low end of the high side.
Yeah, I usually get the pro shop side. It's
Well,
usually
now-
where I end up.
Springfield is the Firestone Union Jack IPA.
Yeah,
Firestone
Union Jack. That's good
Walker.
stuff.
Yeah,
I like that.
that's good stuff.
Don't forget, we still have a coaching video to get to here.
Yep, I've got to actually download that.
We've got a lefty
Yep.
and another lefty to break down a lefty.
Oh, balls.
A buddy of ours, Chris Cannon, out of Las Vegas, Nevada.
Oh, cool.
Sent us in some coaching. You got the pleasure of meeting him here last
Yeah,
week.
yeah.
So
And we went to this. There's another. So we have several friends there. Luis Napolis is one of them. Anthony Moore is another one.
Yep.
We've got several people on our Discord server. And Chris Cannon and Andrew Valdez. And Andrew works at a little tiki bar called Red Dwarf. And so after we went to Caesars and ate their $80 a head buffet.
what?
How was it good?
Oh my God. This is one of those places
It better be.
they have 500 different items for you to eat. And the place is massive, but it's one of those places where you wait 10 minutes in line for the crab legs. You pick a plate up, hand it to them. They pile it as full as it will go and then hand it back to you. There's no, oh, yeah, I just want a couple legs. Like, no, they pile it as high as they can, hand it back to you. And there's a guy whose entire job is to steam the crab legs. He's got 2 massive gloves on. He just crab legs into the steamer, crab legs into the steamer. And then just takes those out and passes them on. They put them in the pan, and they're gone out of the pan as fast as he can steam them.
Man,
And that's what he does his entire shift.
I would have destroyed those crab legs. I love crab
I
legs.
mean, I'll
Oh my
pile
gosh.
food on your plate for a living.
Yeah.
Just here.
Haley and I
Take
went to the Eiffel Tower.
Oh yes.
And we had this. I mean, honestly, like immaculate view of the Bellagio fountains.
All right. I'm going to need
fountains?
your
Yeah.
hashtag. I don't know. I can say this out loud.
No, here. Let me just show you. Keep going.
And it was oh man, it was awesome. It was expensive. I will say that it was expensive, but
How much was it?
it was worth it.
Come on, tell us.
Well, it's $80 just to reserve the window, just to say that we're gonna sit
Good.
at this window to see the Bellagio fountains, and
There
then
we go.
it was.
Whoops.
I mean, the total everything after the $80 and everything, it ended up being $300. So
With food and everything.
food, we both got a glass of wine. It was like, I would say about $80 a plate, and then $20 for wine each glass, her and I, and
Each
then
glass was $20.
yeah,
Oh.
and then we reserved the window for $80.
I did see some pictures of it, and it was pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean it was a great experience. I'd go back. It was awesome.
You need to take me.
Okay.
We'll sit into the Eiffel Tower. Sorry, Haley, you're gone.
It was a pretty awesome view. I'm not gonna lie. I want to go do the Stratosphere. Dylan Burns, him and his fiance went to the Stratosphere and did it rotates.
You know what I'm going to tell him next time I see him? He's bleeping crazy. He ain't
Why?
getting me up there.
I mean, the Eiffel Tower is pretty high too.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm sitting on a flat ground. I'm not getting.
You're not sitting on a flat ground on Eiffel Tower.
You're not on a rotating thing hanging over the side of the building.
I don't hang over. It's like, so you got the circle on the top, the Stratosphere, and it basically like it rotates.
Yeah. How many feet off the ground are you?
A lot.
Yeah. You just no.
You're not as much in the Eiffel Tower, but you're up there. You're either way. You're above ground quite a bit.
Why don't you ride the one that's got the did you see the one that you sit on the seat
And you go flying
ride
off the building?
you ride across from one, you kind of like, not really ripcord, but you kind of go across from one hotel to the other, and then you come backwards.
Oh, I'd do that.
Oh no.
I would do it.
You know the slingshot things that go up and come back down? Yeah, I'd pass out. Or I'd puke in your lap. Will happen. Nope. Will not get this guy
Puke in
on
your
heights. Nope. Sorry. Somebody said something here. Was Trevor the only Newman bowler to not finish in the top 25 in Olympics?
Probably.
The only lefty.
Need to get Haas on powder keg? Absolutely not. If it involves heights,
Oh my God.
mm-mm.
No, so I'm not sure what we're going to Springfield this weekend, but we're gonna, James Niffin moved from North Carolina to here. He's our new tester for ball videos because no one wants to watch a boomer lefty and a woman throw bowling balls. So James has a 500 rev rate and he's right-handed. So naturally we're going to have him throw bowling balls on our videos. So, I mean,
Oz doesn't do heights above 5'5". I'm not 5'5", so you're right.
What are you, 5'1"?
Dang, dude!
Yeah,
You were gonna hit me that hard. I'm 5'4".
I mean, I'm just judging
I'm 5'4".
I'm judging you compared to Haley.
No,
I know Haley's 4'8".
Is she?
No, she's not 4'8".
she's
She's
probably
4'6".
5'0".
She's 5'0" on a good day.
I am 5'4". 5'4", maybe in some change.
I just know when we've taken pictures together, it's kind of funny. You look
It's always Haley, Jonathan, Trevor. Did you see the picture from?
And I'm not tall by any means,
Did
but
you see
it
the
feels,
axe throwing
feels like
picture
I
from
am.
the other day? All the Bumgarners are like extremely tall. The baby's bigger than I am.
Good old Carter.
Oh my god. Yeah. Carter, I think, is going to be the most photographed baby of all time.
Oh man, he's so good at taking pictures. Like, so good.
And you got Mike, who is sorry.
Her grandpa.
You got Haley's grandpa standing there. He's even ginormously tall compared to me, which normal humans
And
are.
he's not even that tall.
No, normal humans are taller than me. Haley's not a normal sized human either. So.
When's our draft for Thursdays?
Oh yeah, well, we can talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, they moved that up. It's like the 11th or something.
Oz can't ride powder cake. He always gets stopped. He must be this big to ride sign. Oh, that's fair. That's fair.
Where this actually sent this?
It's brutal.
All right.
Keep him
Hey,
coming.
look at Haley. 5'1". She's such a liar.
You are not 5'1".
She's my
woman.
fiance. I know that she's lying. Like, she's short.
You are not 5'1". If you're 5'1", I'm 6'2". Somebody said the other day, it was Sean Phillips. He posted something and he says, I quit drinking because they were talking about doing a drinking thing. And I said, yeah, and I'm 6 foot tall. Yeah, okay, so let's see. I've never made it to 5'2".
Angel, I never made it to 5'2". See, Angel's taller than Haley. I feel
She's
like.
easily taller than Haley. Easily.
Yeah.
Haley might be pushing 4'11",
She's looking more like 4'6".
4'10".
Yeah, Simone Biles is like 4'9" or 4'10".
Oh, my daughter's gonna be like 4'7".
Olympic athlete. Yeah.
100%.
So yeah, she's gonna be great.
5'1" with 6 inches.
Did you guys witness Jason Eubanks' lofting display at
Oh my
Nationals?
god.
Did you see that?
Yes, it was.
He's a big,
That guy
big
is
guy.
crazy. He's got the biggest rev rate you've ever seen. Hit it harder. So yeah, I've got to show Trevor.
You
guys
got to
will
see
be able
this.
to see this.
This
but-
dude is lofting at Nationals on the right side of all things.
Come on.
Really?
He does turn the living crap.
I feel
out of
like the right side wasn't necessary to do that this year. But
Hey,
I
now
could be
I'm 5
wrong.
foot. I know, Mom. You're still short too. Look at this guy. But you got to see the. Does he have the Nationals video?
No,
Oh, I want to see that.
but
Yeah, it was ridiculous. Hit it harder. That's right. Well, he needs to teach me a little bit.
He misses it at the bottom.
yeah, just a little bit. And so at Nationals,
Looks like
it
Dylan
was-
Burns.
in doubles and singles, he ended up withdrawing because he was lofting it between the arrows and the first set of tracer boards.
Oh,
He
dude.
was lofting it over his head,
It was the
And you
most
want-
30 feet. And so they started talking to him about it. It's like, could you not loft or whatever else? And he got upset with it, and I just quit.
Yeah.
But
Let me guess.
I mean, the guy's
But
got
when
he's got a 600 rev rate.
well, yeah. First off,
Yeah.
yeah.
And so he's just like, he was just sucking the whole time. He looked pretty good in team. We actually watched him in team. He was doing pretty good. But then doubles and singles, there was just so much friction. And he was just launching it. And nothing reacted well until he started lofting it, which, 600 rev rate, you get good at loft.
It was on Facebook.
Okay,
I'll
yeah.
have to try and
Yeah.
find it and send it to you.
He's
And
a pretty
so-
tall guy.
Yeah. I mean, he's 6'1", 6'2".
Wasn't he like lofting like a mythic jackal or
over
something
his
like that? Or was
head,
that a Zen or?
Yeah, but he was just launching it, and
he's a big guy. He's literally lofting it over his head.
And they came down and talked to him about it and said, "Hey, could you not launch it, or could he not loft it that much, or whatever else?" And he's just like, "You know what? I'm done. Whatever." So he resigned.
I would have been kind of irritated if granted, I'm not going to be lofting it like that, but I'd be a little irritated too. But
I mean, they were hooking, so 600 rev rate.
I'd have been like, I paid $300.
I do know. I know. Dylan wasn't doing that though, and I mean, I know he may not be Dylan.
Well, throws. Well, I guess he doesn't throw motive balls anymore.
Dylan.
No, he throws Storm and Brunswick stuff.
Yeah, Dylan wasn't having to do that.
He is really good at getting deep and like shoving it. So
that's the thing is Dylan tried staying right.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
And
he tried playing them right. I'm pretty sure.
When Dylan actually lofts it, he's really accurate with it.
Oh my god,
he's really accurate.
Some of the best lofting I've ever seen is from
I know. I watch and I laugh at him every time he does it. I'm just like, ridiculous. Don't forget we got Chris Cannon to fit in here.
Yeah, I got I'm pretty sure I got this up. No, maybe not. Yes, I got it up.
All right, here we go.
Let's see it.
All right.
He's a lefty, right?
Yeah, he's a lefty. So and he bowled for a while and then he got out of it, and then he's only been bowling again for like 9 months or something like that. He had been out of it for a while, and then a friend just randomly sent him something and said, "Hey, can you bowl nationals with us?" or something like that. And he's like, "Oh, yeah, okay, sure."
We're doing something right. We're getting adult training sites in here.
Sweet.
What?
Sweet. Yep.
You know what this reminds me of?
That's how you know when you made it, is when you get all the corn spam.
Yep. Yeah.
Corn, because
I watch a podcast, not every day, but a lot, on baseball.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And it's called Run Pure Sports. Mm-hmm. If you haven't checked it out, you need to check it out. Some of the best content you're going to get for baseball. Okay. And they always have that problem.
Oh, yeah.
So it's kind of fun.
Yeah, if you don't get the corn spam.
Yeah, you can't say the other word.
Yeah. Then
get demonetized.
Corn. Yeah, there's a lot of interesting words that I've heard on videos trying to get around the. So
yeah.
Okay,
anyway,
let's see it.
Chris Cannon, everybody.
Okay. Let's see it again.
Yep.
We're going to tell them we're going to play one more time as we look at it here. Big time.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, his hand is like here at release.
Yeah, and so that's something I've been struggling a little bit with too, is wrapping around the outside of it, but it's
not a bad thing to do, mm-hmm. If you do it the right way.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you agree? Like, and both of you, like if you're inside of it and then you spin it,
mm-hmm.
then that's the best way to get around a ball.
And I totally get now why, if you watch a lot of the lefties, they're crazy wide open. Like Matt
mm-hmm.
McNeil basically turned sideways. Ryan Simonelli turned sideways.
Yep.
Gary Faulkner, turned sideways. They really open up because they're trying to project the ball or just kind of force it into the friction. And so...
Yep. You got to play the friction on the left side, because if you don't, then you're going to lose.
So the only thing really, it's not a bad game. So
no,
all we're really seeing there is he needs to work on getting his hand inside of it a little more.
Yeah, inside of it a little bit more, kind of getting the shoulders more open, and that's something that I fight against, because I don't want to be looking at the gutter, but you kind of have to. You kind of have to turn your perspective.
Do you look at the 4-pin?
Yeah. I look at the four. I've got to kind of, because if you get your eyes naturally, if you look at a set of pins, your eyes naturally will go to the head pin because it's in the middle.
Yeah.
But you've got to shift your perspective
Yep.
further left to get, to push the ball, to get it out there. And then, if you push it out there, then you can just let it hook and walk up.
I don't think that he had an issue opening up though.
No, it just when he closes just a little bit too fast.
And when he closes, that's when his
kinda-
hands rotate to the outside.
Gets
of it.
around it, and that's been my problem lately too, is that I don't want to just completely throw it out the window.
Yeah.
But, if you get it inside a little bit, it goes berserk.
And that's what I saw was he was kind of open, and then as he got closer to release point, he closed up, and that's when the hand rotated out.
I mean, I think if he put just more pressure, like on his
So you're saying
index finger,
So sit the ball basically here.
kind of actually more. So the biggest thing is that, and this is just, I've kind of helped Dylan with this too. Like it's not a matter of how you start; it's more of how you are in between from like your steps.
Yeah.
So you can start this way if you want to. I mean, I don't care how you start, but the main thing is, in my opinion, is you got to have that pressure. And I'm actually too much on my index finger, in my opinion. You get too far inside of it, and then it can cause other things. But like in his case, you almost got to feel like you're like this, and just all that ball. The ball literally just rests right here because this is your bread and butter.
Yep.
Your index finger.
Yep.
This is where you're gonna, in my opinion, you can do anything you want with your hand. You get inside of it, you can do anything you want. If you want to come behind it, you can come behind it. If you want to come around it, you can come around it. You can do anything you want with your hand if you get it in a good spot. So kind of like what you were saying, if you're coming around it too quick or too hard, and there's times I do it too. Like my elbow, you can see it like pop out.
Yep.
That was a quick video, but it's kind of what I saw a little bit too. Is it like it kind of pops out too quick, kind of like what you both were just saying on like coming around it. If you just hold it in and keep it in and think of inside more, keep it inside of you more.
Yeah.
And
it's funny you say that because I noticed too with a lot of people that are working on getting their hand inside the ball, what I see is they're there and you see it and they're holding it. But as they get to the top of the release point, they get lazy with it. And that's when your hand rotates over the side of it. I fought that for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And just think in your head, just kind of get there and set up. And you can literally hold that all the way through release and you can hold it there and you're going to be there at the bottom.
Yeah.
You just got to keep your wrist basically strong.
Yeah.
And hold it.
And you have to be aggressive. And I mean, that's the biggest thing is you
Am I
can't.
wrong?
No, and that's the other thing. Like he was saying that you have to be aggressive.
Yeah.
On the right side, you can play with it a little bit more. You can finesse it a little bit more. You have to be very aggressive on the left side.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, your ball reaction is going to be all over the place.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's really hurt me the last year or so when I've been trying to get better.
Yep.
I've been trying to roll it more, to kind of finesse it more, and you can't do that. If you look at the successful lefties, they throw it pretty hard. Even Jacob Buttriff, who rolls a little bit more, he still kind of gets way inside of it and then sends it.
Yeah, I mean, he's the perfect example, honestly. And I know he's very unorthodox, but that's the thing is like kind of how I just said, you can start out however you want and you can get to the line however you want, but you have to be inside of it. Like, and he's arguably the most successful lefty on tour for the last how many ever years?
Yeah, he kind of corkscrews it too. He just kind of gets on the inside, but he sends it.
He's more inside of it than any other person that
Brandon
I've seen.
says, so would you say pointing your index finger at your target is what you're talking about?
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean, that's not bad.
in a sense, it's mainly feeling like, and it sounds super weird, but like it's mainly feeling like your hand is going to. So, I'm gonna position my hand.
Yeah, move the camera.
So position your hand to where when you go, it's almost going to feel like you're turning it.
Yeah.
You're turning it that way.
Yeah, that's.
I don't know if that makes sense on the camera, but
no,
like
you gotta open it up to try to really get your hand inside of it.
Yep, you got to open it up, and then when you get to the bottom, I wish we had a video of like butt turf or
I'm
even
actually
me.
Going to show. I'm going to show your video.
I get inside.
You know
of
what
it.
taught me how to do it is instead of setting up like this and rotating it, was just set up a little stronger. Set up with my hand kind of here, and then just hold it all the way.
Yeah, because we had the same problem with him last year.
Drop it.
Yeah. It's really getting all that pressure here, getting inside of it, and then when you get to the release point, you're inside of it, and you can do what you're doing even now.
Yep.
The difference is you're going to be so much stronger in your release point. You're going to increase your rev rate.
Your rev rate's going to go up.
Your rev rate's going to go up, and B, you're going to find accuracy is going to be a lot easier too. And I don't know if you have an accuracy problem, but like it's just being inside of the ball.
Index finger perpendicular to the floor in the swing at target after release is a symptom. Yeah.
And if you go back, like we had on the bowler show last night, we had the Norm Duke thing.
Yep.
But we had Mike Albee stopped in, Parker Bone was in. Mike Albee, Parker Bone, Ryan Simonelli. You look at lefties. Matt Sanders is even more closed than anybody else is, but he still gets really, really inside of it.
He's really inside of it.
So I'm gonna show a couple of videos from Trevor.
Chris Cannon said real quick, my PSO says to imagine throwing a backup ball to stay inside. Fantastic idea.
Yeah,
that's exactly what you got to do.
Exactly, that's an excellent point.
No, it is, yeah, because
some guys are more inside than others.
The difference is at the very end, obviously a backup ball, you
look at the opposite direction.
You remain that way.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
But like at the very end, that's when you give it that twirl.
And
you twirl it this way, you twirl it that way, you twirl it this way, however you want to twirl it. I mean, that is one thing I'm fairly good at is hand positions.
That is a fact.
And it when you get here with it, you can do whatever you want.
Correct.
It's just a matter of figuring out.
And when you were talking about the left side, how you got to be more aggressive, it's funny you say that because you see more spinners have more success on the right side than you would the left because you can get away with it more on the right than the left. So that makes plenty of sense.
Yeah, you think of any lefty that you watch, Svensson, Buttriff.
Svensson gets way inside of it at the bottom.
Yeah.
If you honestly look at not even lefties, a lot of righties for that matter. Like it doesn't matter who you are.
Yeah.
Like as a righty, lefty, the most successful people. I mean, Barnes, you can watch them all. They all trick them at the bottom, but they trick them at the bottom and they're inside of it because they're able to do whatever they want to do to it. And that's the whole key is you've got to be inside of it in order to do whatever you want to do. Because if you're here, if you're on the side, there's only one way you can go.
Yep.
And that's suitcasing it.
Yep.
And I mean, you can go more this way, but I mean, now you're creating all kinds of orbital kind of axis, like inside of it gets you anything and everything you want behind it, around it, 3/4, 2/2, whatever you want to do. That's the key.
Another underrated release would be Kyle Sherman. Kyle Sherman has an amazing release at the bottom.
Oh yeah, no,
very, very good at the bottom. All right, show the.
Trevor's
a great example.
Yeah, I'm going to show Trevor again here.
Show that one
several times back to back. Even though this is the one that hooks off the planet, but it's the easiest
thing
to watch.
This is identical to where you want your hand.
Unfortunately, I'm a little left.
All right, so I'm going to show the other one that strikes.
It's hard to see it, but this is identical where you want your hand. Where you want to be. It looks painful if you're not used to it, but it's
Am I on camera?
Yeah, you're live now.
Right
Yeah, so I don't know if you can watch that video, and it's not a fantastic video because it's not behind. And I'm not even that great at it, but by any means, but I when you're inside of it like that, you can kind of see how you're just ripping through it and can do whatever you want to it at the bottom.
Yeah.
Like in that position on that shot, if I wanted to spin it, I could spin it. If I want to come behind it, I can come behind it. It's all, and I wish you could see on camera. Like
Put your hand up there. They
A
can
lot
probably
of-
see it.
a lot of people know.
Right?
I mean, you can kind of see that yellow.
That's from a bowling ball.
Mhm.
I don't know if you can see it or not, but I have to wrap my finger
Yeah.
because when I
That's
bowl,
where
like
the-
when I
yeah,
bowl
that's
any
where
kind
the
of amount of games,
callus-
because, and I've talked to Luke about it, I've talked to John, like a lot of people I've talked to about it, and it's not necessarily a bad thing, but I mean, I put so much pressure on my index finger.
Yep.
It's not as, like I said, it's not a bad thing, but I'm kind of over excessive with it. Like I mean, I get really inside of it sometimes too much.
And there's nothing wrong with that, though. You heading out?
No. I'll be back.
But yeah,
We
so
probably should shut this down shortly, too, though. It's after 8 now.
that's the main thing is you just really gotta be inside of it. If you're wanting to do whatever you want to it at the bottom, and you're not wanting to be consistent, consistent, whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
I mean, inside of it is where you have to be, because that allows you to do whatever you want to the ball.
And I'm a perfect example, too, because I was fighting it about a year ago or so, where I would get my hand in the right spot at the top. But like I was saying earlier, my hand would just for some reason, would just get lazy, and I'd just kind of come around and I'd spin it and I'd suitcase.
Yeah.
And that's where I was really fighting ball reaction issues. I wasn't able to do half the things I wanted to do with a bowling ball. And once you get your hand inside of it, your rev rate goes up. You notice your carry percentage goes up. I have noticed that. Granted, I haven't been bowling all that.
That
well,
is-
that's not all. It's execution.
That is one thing that will go up.
Yeah.
Is your carry percentages. It'll get way better.
Oh yeah, you'll see yourself throwing some messengers. You throw pins around a lot more.
So I like what Brandon just said. I know I try to stay inside. Where'd he go? When I come to release, I feel like my elbow flies out. So that will happen.
Yeah.
And the reason why I say that will happen is because when you're kind of when you're not used to being inside of it all the time, it's kind of like that video, the one that you had up there
The one where
before,
it hooked early.
the one where it hooked early.
Yeah.
Watch my elbow.
Yeah.
It flies out.
It does fly out.
It flies out,
Yeah,
and
so
and that, it was a miss. It was a miss, but I mean, that's what happens sometimes is your elbow flies out. You got to keep that elbow inside. What I try to tell myself is literally try to make it feel like you're elbowing your ribs.
Yep.
Like you're literally throwing your elbow in your ribs, and you just stay inside of
And
it.
that's the one thing. If you're learning to do it and you're not used to doing it, it's the most uncomfortable thing you'll do in your life.
Yeah, so I'm going to show my shot and then show Trevor's shot, because that's something I've been struggling a little bit with, is squaring my elbow or squaring my shoulders too much, which gets everything around it too much. And you'll be Jonathan, give me your glass there.
Sorry. Chris Cannon, to answer his question, Turbo actually has a training tool to help you learn to get your hand inside the ball. It's like
Man,
a little strap.
is he the
thing
one in
that
Vegas?
holds you. Yeah.
Yeah, he's the one that we were watching.
Man,
He's the one that we were watching the video of.
I wish I could have had a coaching lesson with, just not really a coaching lesson, I guess, but because I'm not this most fantastic bowler you ever meet. But
He's terrible. Towel in your armpit. Towel in your armpit
If-
would actually work. If you're one stepping it.
what do you say?
Towel in your armpit would actually work. If
Yeah.
you're one stepping it for short.
So I'm going to show, if you watch the difference between me and then Trevor, you'll see basically exactly what he's talking about, because I square my shoulders a little bit too much. And so I start okay, but then my hand gets kind of inside of it, and then I kind of wrap around it, roll kind of around it.
Mhm.
So I'm going to show mine, and then I'll show Trevor's again.
Real quick, I got a question. Well, these guys, are they in, I'm sure they're in your Discord and everything.
Yeah,
So,
Chris,
like-
Chris is in there.
So like if I sent you a picture of like where my normal swing is,
Yeah.
you could maybe post it in there,
I
and
might have
they could kind of see like how I know it's kind of hard to tell
I
on
might
those
have
shots,
some.
but I mean, I can maybe send you a picture or something, and you can kind
Yeah.
of they can post it if you want.
Yeah, and Chris was actually there watching you and Rhino bowl with
Okay.
us. So,
Okay. Yeah, sorry you saw some bad bowling.
well, not really bad bowling, just bad scoring. So, all right, I'm going to show mine again a couple times, and then I'll go back to Trevor's a couple times.
This video is perfect.
play that one more time. One second. Yeah, just not quite as strong, but I mean,
Yeah,
you're getting there though, because
it's not
at the beginning of
bad,
the
but
season last year,
yeah,
you were more, in my opinion, you were more, like that. That's pretty dang.
yeah,
It's
it's
closer.
not bad, but it's not. I would still like to get a little bit better because I'm still my shoulders are a little square, and I get in the backswing, and then I kind of get in outside of it, and then I kind of finish outside of it.
Mhm.
But if we watch again here the difference, I'm gonna put your video up a few times now.
Yeah, I'm hitting it. Mm-hmm.
All right, so there you can see the difference between I'm decent. I'm not. I'm okay. I'm not happy with where I'm at, but it could be a whole lot worse. And you, I think, have kind of the ideal game, and so that's what you're kind of trying to get to. But you can definitely see the difference. I'll play mine once more just so that you can see what's going on here. Yeah, so it's mostly good, but I just get my hand outside of it or around it too quickly. It gets into the backswing, and then I kind of lose it a little bit.
Yep.
And again, it's not bad, but it's not. I
yeah.
still feel it. So when my mistakes are most of the time the elbow coming out or
Yep.
wanting to shoulder it or pull it or whatever else, and
the biggest thing with the elbow, like that video prior, if you pull that one up on me, like I come around it too quick, and that's 9 times out of 10. If your elbow's popping out, you're trying to come around it too quick. So you're inside, but you're coming around it too quick. If you, it sounds so dumb, but like and weird, but just wait. If you wait on it, you stay patient, and then just let her have it. One way, however you want to do it, you can literally come out like this if you want to.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you're inside of it because you're in the right spot.
Yep.
Then you can do whatever you want to it, and it's just all about patience with your hand at the bottom.
It's funny you say that too, because like you said, you can be inside of it, all the way to this point, and then if you just come out of it too quick, guess where your hand's going to be?
Yeah,
your hand's going to be here.
Yeah, if you come out of it,
if you're going to spin it,
if you come around too early, like pull up the video that's bad. And
I'll play this one a couple times.
Still be inside of it, but
that's a great example of it flying out or you getting out of it too.
Yeah, so I mean, I still maybe was inside of it, like fairly decent, but I mean, it's still like I came around early, and that's why you see my elbow kind of fly out there because it's just me, A, not making a good shot, and B, like coming around it too quick.
That's being uncomfortable.
That too.
Because
absolutely.
This one,
bowling in a phone booth.
Yeah. So I'll show
when you have one board, it kind of it makes it to where you're pressing more, and when you press, it's never a good thing.
So I'll show the one, the good one, and then I'll show the other one.
Okay. It's all about timing.
Oh yeah.
It's
So,
all
yeah,
about
it's
timing
not-
and waiting.
It's very subtle. It's not like completely obvious,
Yeah.
but you're not comfortable. You're that last one, you just tried to help it a little bit, and so that's naturally what people do is they pull their shoulders and they kind of get their arm around it,
Chicken wing. Yeah.
because you don't want to send it because it's not going to hook, and so you just it's almost like a subconscious thing where
Yep.
you're not trying to do it, but it just kind of you're just trying to help it a little bit.
Yeah, Brandon. The first video, he was definitely more in time.
Oh,
He got. Best way to explain it is he was a little early with his release there, so that's why obviously
well,
you miss and you see the duck hook. So
Yeah.
Chris is coming out. He's going to be at KCO.
in the same group.
Yeah. Perfect.
So
He says he wants to come pick your brain.
Yeah. Come pick my
Don't do
brain.
it. He's mean.
Yeah.
He's mean.
I will say on the lanes, I look pretty mad all the time and not happy, but I'm pretty approachable, especially
Stay
after
away, he's mean.
bowling. I'm not
JK.
during bowling. I'm not. I don't seem like a fun person to be around. I don't know why. I've always been that way. But
I will
mean,
give in a suggestion. If you see that he's not bowling very well, give him about 10 minutes.
give me 2 shots. That's all I need. Usually I forget.
We're all
after.
going to Jack Stack afterwards, so
Yeah, I can mess me up some Jack Stack.
yeah.
There's one in Lee Summit, so we have a team there.
I also
Yeah.
Jack Stack, and Joe's Barbecue.
Joe's is good stuff.
Favorite barbecues you ever.
Have you been to Slaps yet?
Mm-mm.
Slaps
Slaps is
good.
amazing. We took James there on Saturday.
That sounds good.
Slaps
I mean, I
is-
love barbecue in general.
Slaps
so.
is very good.
Yeah, Slaps is. I don't know if you know where Kemper Arena is at.
Yep.
Just on the Missouri side of the. So you're on like 70 or 670, and you go over the river, and then Kemper's there on the south side. Slaps is on the opposite side of the river, so it's on the Kansas side of the river, on Central.
Raylan actually has gymnastics competitions at Kemper
Oh,
places.
Really?
Amanda goes, "What is Hy-Vee Arena?" I said, "Well, actually, believe it or not, that was
Oh,
Kemper,
boy.
and I haven't been there in ever."
What?
He's only a mean coach to me, Chris, so you will. No, Haley.
He's only a mean. Yeah,
It's probably because you're frying out.
yeah. It's not like Haley's a firecracker.
Yeah.
It's not like she's not a firecracker.
As long as you listen to me, which I'm not saying you have to listen to me, but Haley tells me everything I do wrong.
I was about to say,
Look what she
Yeah,
said.
yeah.
Be able to ask him anything.
So yeah, you'll be able to ask him anything. He's only a mean coach to me.
I thought you were about to say, if only you'd listen to me and keep going, and my face is like,
No.
bailing out.
It's not even a matter of listening. She just her firecracker personality.
Hi, hey.
Yeah.
Love her to death, but she has a firecracker personality.
All right.
All right. Well, what a fun
So-
night.
Yeah, we're about done. I will tell a little bit of our travel story here before we get off. So we
Oh, yeah.
we drive every year, and so we take a few people's stuff. My parents actually like to go on road trips too. They like to go out and watch the bowling. They go to the Hoover Dam, whatever else. When we're in Reno, they go up to Tahoe and check that out a little bit. But they like to go with us on the trips, and so we take their van. We load it up in the back with, I think we took 30 some odd bowling balls down and came back with even more.
Jeez.
Colorado roads are absolutely wretched. We have something interesting that happens on the road trip every single year, whether it's a dust storm. So one year we had a dust storm in Colorado that forced us off I-70, so we had to get up on another road. That was a couple-hour detour. When we went down to Baton Rouge in 2012, I think, there was a flood in Oklahoma, and we were routed onto a 15-mile detour. But in the middle of that detour, there was a 150-foot bridge that was having one lane replaced, and so it was down to one lane. And so they had all traffic north and southbound on this major highway going through Oklahoma on this detour that was a one-lane road. So that took a couple hours to get around. The first time we drove to Reno, we got into Utah, and there was an oil tanker that overturned and dumped 8,000 gallons of crude. And so that took 3 or 4 hours to get around that. Last year there was a mudslide in Colorado, and that shut down the highway for a day and a half.
What is this mudslide?
It's when
That may be a dumb question.
it's when there was a crap load of rain and there was some stuff,
Rocks
of mud
and everything.
rocks and whatever
Yeah.
that came off a mountainside and washed over the road. And so we took a freaking goat path that was a 2 or 3 hour detour. And so we've had blizzards where we've been behind a bunch of semis that have had to stop in the middle of the road and put their chains on.
Jeez.
So we've had something interesting every single year. This year we were fine until we got into Colorado, and the roads are so ridiculously bad. We hit one pothole going onto a bridge so bad that with 450 pounds bowling balls in the back, it lifted us all out of our seats.
Oh my gosh.
And then because the roads in Colorado are so bad, we couldn't tell whether it was the tire or the roads. Once we got out of Colorado the next day and got into Utah, we felt a vibration, and so it just kept getting worse and kept getting worse. We were a couple hours outside of Vegas, and it was so bad that Mom and Dad said, we just need to stop and have this checked out and balanced and whatever. When Dad, it was just me and Dad that went to Vegas in 2009. On the way back, we stopped in Beaver, Utah, which is a couple hundred miles outside of Vegas.
Yep.
And we had all 4 tires replaced. We had the struts replaced. We had the shocks replaced. That was $1,500 13 or 14 years ago. So we stopped again in Beaver, Utah, because we've been there before. that shop that was open in 2009 that we stopped at had closed, but we stopped somewhere else. He balanced all the tires, and then we got to the last tire. He's like, "Oh, okay, well, I found your problem. I have a picture of it. I put it on Instagram and on the YouTube channel." The pothole that we had hit the day before broke a couple belts in the tire. And so this is what the tire looked like. It was completely bald, and we had this. My God, that's a hole. This is what the tire looked like when we stopped a couple hundred miles outside of Vegas. And so he said, "Yeah, I found your problem here. A couple belts were broken. There's a long split in the tire. We would have probably not made it to Vegas and would have gone off the road." If you look, I zoomed out here. So if you look at the rest of the picture, the tread on the top and on the bottom of this picture is fine. There's nothing wrong with it, but there was a couple belts that broke in the tire. So we had to have the back 2 tires replaced on the way. So we're a couple hundred miles outside of Vegas. We had the tires replaced. We had been making good time up to that point, so we were fine. We had a couple tires replaced. And then it was a ridiculously busy time in Vegas. We didn't sleep a whole lot because we wanted to watch Trevor, and they had the 9:30 p.m., 7 a.m. squad the following day. So they had 9 p.m. Friday night, 7 a.m. Saturday morning. Then we had 9:30 p.m. Saturday night, 7 a.m. Sunday morning. When we got to Vegas, we had the 10 p.m. Bowler's Journal squad on Thursday that didn't start until 10:30. And then I went to film with Luis Napolis at pretty early on Friday morning. Mm-hmm. Then we were up the whole day. Then we went to Red Dwarf Friday night before we went and watched Trevor until 11 or 12 o'clock, Saturday night or Friday night.
Yep.
And then we got up early again and watched them bowl at 7 a.m. Saturday morning. Then we had to bowl at 9:30 Saturday night, and then get up and bowl 7 a.m. Sunday morning. Then we had another Bowler's Journal squad 10 o'clock Sunday night. Then we left 6 a.m. Monday morning to come back home.
Yep.
So we get to Dillon, Colorado, which is about an hour and a half west of Denver, which is where we normally spend the night on the way back. Well, my dad, once we got back from supper, that night, Monday night in Dillon, Colorado. My dad got lightheaded. He felt like he was going to faint. And so his heart started racing. And so they called an ambulance and they took him to a hospital in Frisco, Colorado, which is, I don't know, 10 minutes away from Dillon.
It was really beautiful there, though.
Yeah. It's a great looking place. It was kind of fun. But my dad stayed the night, Monday night. His heart rate was through the roof. I mean, his heart was going 100, 110, 120
Elevation
beats a
change
minute.
and stuff.
Yeah, 120 beats a minute. So they kept him overnight to do some tests and whatever else. Angel had to be back. We were supposed to be back Tuesday night and go back to work Wednesday morning. But my dad was not doing well Tuesday morning, and so they wanted to keep him later, and so we tried to look for a rental car. They don't do one-way rentals anymore. Actually, the car thing is the car shortage or the problem or whatever else is mostly the rental car places. Oh, hi puppies! Oh my gosh, what are you guys doing? So the rental cars, no, okay. You guys playing? So the rental car places are buying up all the used cars. There's kind of a chip shortage right now, so that's why there's not a whole lot of new cars on lots, and why used cars are going up, why interest rates are going up, whatever else. So there was no going one way in a rental car. So Enterprise, Hertz, whatever else, we called AAA. They couldn't find anything to go one way. Angel absolutely had to be back Tuesday night. My dad was still in the hospital Tuesday morning, and so we were trying to figure out how to get Angel back home with 35 bowling balls, all the luggage, whatever else, and we couldn't take the train. We couldn't take an air. You're not going to put somebody with heart problems on a plane. Yeah. We couldn't take a Greyhound bus. We couldn't do any of this stuff. And so Angel and I had planned on buying new cars when we got back on Saturday, which was a couple days ago. Anyway, and so we thought, okay, well, if there's anything in the Denver area, we already had done the shopping, knew what we wanted. So if there's anything around the area, if they have either her car, my car, whatever else, we can just go buy a car.
Yep.
And she can drive the van home with all the bowling balls, all the luggage, whatever else. And then whenever my dad gets out of the hospital, then we can drive back in the new car. So we found something in Denver. So she dropped me and my mom off in Denver on the way back to town. And this had taken several hours. So she dropped us off at like 11 or 12 o'clock. It's an 8-hour drive back from Denver, plus you lose an hour from the time change. So she ended up getting home at like 9:30, 10 o'clock Tuesday night, and then went into work Wednesday morning, and then
loaded the 35 bowling balls.
And then had to go pick the dogs up Wednesday night, absolutely the very minute she got off of work on Wednesday.
From Kansas City, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so 2-hour drive.
Yeah, Platte City by the airport.
And I had to take classes.
And she took bowling balls to drop off to somebody that was in Kansas City.
You missed the most fun part, though. I got to bark orders at the dealer.
Yeah. So she ordered the dealer around. So she dropped us off. We spent 2 or 3 hours buying a car. My dad stayed in the hospital until Wednesday morning at like 11 o'clock. Everything ended. His heart rate never came down, but all the tests were fine. And so the doctor said, well, you can either jump your heart and kind of shock it back into regular rhythm, or, it doesn't look like your heart handles altitude well. So you might just let you go, get out of the altitude. Your heart might return to its natural rhythm. And if it doesn't, then you can get it jumped when you get back to town.
So it was out of rhythm?
Yeah. So it
was AFib, kind of like?
Yeah, he was an AFib.
Okay.
So
he already has a small AFib.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and my mom's an RN, or she was an RN, so she was kind of on top of of everything.
Retired.
And so we decided to just kind of check him out. And once we got back into Kansas, back into lower altitude, his heart returned to its natural
Which is
rate.
what you guys thought was going to be like that.
But
Right.
it's still, I had to call work and tell them, hey, it's going to be a day late. I bought a new car. So,
prior?
Yeah. So that's the thing. So Angel dropped us off on the way through Denver to buy my new car. So she drove the van home with all the bowling balls or whatever. We bought a new car in Denver at noon on Tuesday.
Yep.
Then me and my mom drove back to, drove an hour and a half back to Frisco, Colorado, where my dad's still in ICU. We're still checking him out. He ended up spending the night, Tuesday night into Wednesday. Decided not to have the procedure done. We left at about 11 o'clock. We got back into Kansas, and his heart rate returned to normal, but we didn't get them home until 10 o'clock Wednesday night. And then I went in first thing. My alarm goes off at 5:30 in the morning. So we get back 10 o'clock Tuesday or 10 o'clock Wednesday night. Angel has been back, went to work, went and picked up dogs, dropped off bowling balls. I drop my parents off at 10 o'clock Wednesday night. It's by the time we get home and get stuff unloaded, whatever else, it's midnight.
So bowling didn't go great Thursday.
It's midnight Wednesday night by the time we get into
shock
bed.
me after all that.
Yeah.
My alarm goes off at 5:30 Thursday morning. I go work all day. I get home in time to kind of pack things up, get things resituated, go to league Thursday night. And then, I get home again, sleep for a few hours. My alarm goes off 5:30 again for work Friday. It's been a long week and a half.
Let's just talk about the commitment that you had on bowling. Though.
Yeah.
I mean, Thursday you went bowling, and then
God.
after all that, being tired and everything, I think I would have skipped.
Yeah.
Screw bowling at that
Yeah,
point.
and then when
Yeah.
we traded my car, we did the 2-for-1 on Saturday, traded my car in, and then I had to go to town Sunday and about got T-boned in my new car because somebody decided to run a red light.
Yeah, so we already again, we were going to buy new cars on Saturday, and so she found, she had the one that she wanted, and so she made the appointment for it, and so we went and spent, 5 hours bowling, or 5 hours buying a new car on Saturday, and then we went to Slaps, and then we got back here, and James drilled some new stuff and whatever else, so, yeah. So yes, Haley said my grandpa's an AFib right now, and that's what they said is some people live with it their whole life and are on medication. So they put him on the medication, got him stabilized. Everything else was fine. They did every other test, whatever else, and they looked at his echo and said, well, what we really see is a heart that just doesn't handle altitude well. So once we got him back into Kansas, he was fine.
That's kind of weird. That's crazy.
Yeah,
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah, so his heart rate returned to normal once we got back out of the altitude. And so it was just the altitude.
You're aging people just from your story.
Yeah, I know. So what kind of car? I got a Honda HRV. I had a Civic Si, but it's just too small to take anywhere. And so we always have to drive Angel's Edge everywhere. And so I got an HRV, so it's a little bit bigger. She got a Honda Passport. So what are we talking about?
Nothing.
You're taking
Nothing.
like 20 minutes
You're being
longer.
discorded.
Yeah, I understand that. I just had to tell the story. So anyway,
I'm going to tell the story.
It's been a very long week and a half. We both have new cars. We left with one car, and Angel came home one night with one, and I came home the next night with the new one. And
hey, the cars are nice. I mean, I
Yeah.
saw them, so that's a good thing.
yeah, they're pretty
They're
sharp
nice.
cars, but it's been a frickin'
Been a mess.
yeah.
Mine would
Buying
show
new
up.
cars, yeah. It only took 3 hours in Denver at the dealership, and we were just kind of like, yeah, we know we want this one. We're taking it. Do the stuff. We're out of here. And even on Saturday when we're like, yeah, we know what we want. Yes, we're taking this one. Here's our cars, whatever else. It took 4.5 hours.
Yeah, that sucks.
Okay,
Oh.
and that's crap.
So we're ready to sign off. I still have not had a full night's worth of sleep in like 2 weeks.
It's not looking good for you.
I don't have a.
Hey, it's only 8:30. You got
I
it
need
here.
I need my
He has 2
haircut.
balls to drill.
What?
You
You
got
got to
it.
finish.
Oh yeah. So
Our 2 balls.
yeah, so the RSTX3 videos will be out on Saturday because we can put them up on Friday, but Friday is the release date for the reality check and Wolverine Dark Moss, and I don't want to mess with that. So I'm going to put the X3 videos up on Saturday. And when do we get the Hustle USA
We haven't
and
got shipping yet.
Hype Solid? Okay. So we're going to be in Springfield this weekend. So Hustle USA and Hype Solid videos will probably be next week sometime. We do not have a Bowler show on Sunday. We do not have a breakdown pair on Monday because we're going to be gone. But once we get into August, we should be good to go indefinitely until the end of the year anyway. So,
Okay.
Sweet.
yeah. So,
Thank you for joining us, Trevor.
after that 20 minutes,
Yeah, no problem.
Trevor,
Appreciate it.
No problem.
Friggin'
Boy,
I
Trevor.
could have told that story in
Trevor.
like 30 seconds.
Trevor.
We appreciate
Trevor
it,
understands.
buddy. Every time you join us, it's always a pleasure.
Yeah, thanks for having me on,
You
and
get to come
been-
talk about
it's been
bowling and
fun.
have beer.
yeah, I mean I'll be
Yeah,
on
I mean-
again, I'm sure. So
Really hope
Yeah.
everybody enjoyed having our special guest on with us tonight.
Yeah.
Once again, Rosedale 10, Haas 10 will save you 10% off a Cool Wick. We don't have a Discord link. It is actually in the description.
Yeah, it's
So
in the
we have
description.
that.
So if you want to see the stuff in the description, we've got some more stuff. I've got a reality check versus Nova video. If you go onto my channel on the front page, it is in the Bull Reviews feed, but I have not made it public yet. So I have put it in the Bull Reviews playlist, but I'm not making it public until Wednesday. So if you want a kind of a sneak peek of that, I tend to do that. I go ahead and put it in the playlist, but I don't premiere it yet. So if you want a sneak peek of that, you can go check it out. And if not, it'll be premiering on Wednesday, and then I will have a reality check and Wolverine Dark Moss build a bag kind of an arsenal building thing on Friday, and then I will have a RSTX3 review on Saturday. So thanks everybody for watching. Thanks Trevor for hanging out.
Yep.
As always,
The
Jonathan,
breakdown.
it's a good thing that we're all on chairs so
Yeah.
that we all kind of
Oh, yeah. I just now
Yeah.
noticed that.
yeah, we're all the same height.
Now I'm
Yeah.
feeling spicy.
Yeah, we're all the same height when we're sitting down. So thanks, everybody. We appreciate it. We will see you in a couple weeks back on the breakdown.